is the subject of the sentence, what you're speaking about. Khabar is what comes to give information, come to inform about the mubtada. So, for example, we have, Zaydun Muslimun. Zaydun is a Muslim. Mubtada, khabar. Another example, Aminatu Muslimun or Muslimatun? Muslimatun, because the mubtada and the khabar have to match in gender and number. Remember, these are the stuff that we learned in book 1. Matching gender and number. So here we have mu'annath, mudhakkar, mudhakkar. 1, 1, 1, 1. This is Jumlah Ismiyyah, Mubtada, Khabar. They are the basic foundations or components in constructing a Jumlah Ismiyyah. Then we can have extra information describing this and so on. But these two, you can't have them missing. If you have one of these two missing, then you don't have a Jumlah Ismiyyah. Jumlah Fa'liyyah, we have to have two components as well. Fi'lun, which is the verb, and Fa'ilun, which is the doer. The action and the doer, person doing it. So for example, we'd have Dhahaba Muhammadun. Muhammad went. Dhahaba is the fi'l, the action. Who did it? Muhammad is the doer. Another example, Daraba Muhammadun. Daraba Muhammadun, Muhammad hit. This type of verb requires an object. So we have two types of verbs. We have a verb which is lazim, it only requires a fa'il. And we have another type of verb which is muta'addi. It requires, every verb requires a fa'il, but this one, along with requiring a fa'il, it has to have an object. It fell on, or it occurred, it happened to. Daraba Muhammadun is not a complete sentence. We have to have that fa'il, the object. The object is maf'ulun bihi. Daraba Muhammadun Zaydan, we'd say. Okay, Daraba Muhammadun Zaydan. Muhammad is the one that was hit. The hukm, the ruling of the ending of the fa'il is that it is marfu', ending with dhamma and dhammatain. This is the primary sign. Dhamma or dhammatain, primary sign. There's other signs, but we will refer to this as a word in marfu' state. The state of this word is marfu'. Likewise, the khabar is always marfu' and the mubtada is always marfu'. These words we have, inshallah, we've covered them in Medina book 1. Marfu', mansoob, majroor, and so on. These kind of words, these are the ahkam in nahu. Like in fiqh we have haram, halal, makruh, mubah, and so on. In nahu we have these types of ahkam where the endings is the focus. Marfu', dhamma dhammatain. Majroor, kasra kasratain. Mansoob, fatha fathatain. So this is mansoob because maf'ulun bihi. The object of the sentence is maf'ulun bihi, is mansoob. Marfu', the fa'il is always marfu'. The khabar is always marfu'. The mubtada is always marfu'. طيب. Okay, so this is something that we should already know. We mentioned this as an introduction to what's going to come. So in this lesson we're going to come across this inna, and then wa akhawatuha. The author is going to bring this concept of inna wa akhawatuha. Akhawatuha, inna and its sisters. Akhawatuha, inna is mu'annath, so akhawatuha and its sisters. Akhawat is the plural for ukhtun. Ukhtun means a sister. Someone who shares the same, a female who shares the same mother and father as you, is your sister. But here we're not talking about sisters here. Another meaning for sister or ukhtun in the Arabic language is mathil. Mathilun or nadir. Nadirun. That's what ukht means here. Ukht is mathil or nadir. What's mathil or nadir? A counterpart, an equivalent, something like it. So there's inna and its sisters means nadairuha, things which are similar to it. Things which are similar to it in which way? Things which are similar to it in grammatical function. Inna and its sisters have the same grammatical function. They do the same job. They have the same effect. Okay, that's what akhawatuha means. Mathil means its counterparts and its equivalent. It's like, in what way? In grammatical function. They all do the same jobs. Their meanings are different, but their job, the grammatical job function is exactly the same. How many of them are there in total? Inna and its sisters? There's 6. And they're all huruf. They're all huruf. Remember, the words in the Arabic language are either ism, fi'l, harf. Inna and its sisters are all huruf. So we can say huruf, or we can say ahruf as well. Another plural, which is more suitable, is ahruf. Ahruf. Huruf is when there's a lot of huruf. Ahruf is when there's less than 10. So we're talking about 6, so we use this plural is better. Ahruf, jam'u qilla. So they are all ahruf. Sittatu ahruf. 6 particles. These 6 particles, we're going to mention them all together now. Although in lesson 1, he only mentions 2. In lesson 1, he only mentions 2, but let's mention all of them and explain all of them together so we have an understanding. It's better this way sometimes when you group all of the information together under one and summarize it generally and then explain it individually later on. Inshallah, this is a better way of teaching. So we have inna, this is number 1. We have anna, is number 2. We have la'alla, this is number 3. La'alla, number 3. Then we have lakinna, la. Okay, that kasras with the kaf, yeah. I'll put fatha for that. Lakinna, we stretch the lam, yeah, but there's no alif written. Lakinna. Then we have ka'anna and later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inna, anna, la'alla, lakinna, ka'anna, later. 6 ahruf, 6 letters. They have the same grammatical function, but their meanings are different. Their meanings, let's cover their meanings quickly. Yeah? Inna and anna have the same meaning. They come for tawqeed. Tawqeedun. Tawqeed means emphasis. Tawqeedun is emphasis. La'alla comes for 2 meanings. Ar-raja, raja'un, or ishfaqun. Raja or ishfaq. What's raja? Raja is hope. La'alla can come to show hope in something happening. Ishfaq is the opposite, fear of something happening. Fear or hope. Lakinna comes for istidrak. Istidrak. It means however or but. you've mentioned something, and that thing which you mentioned previously might be misunderstood. So you're coming to like a clarification of what you mentioned before, because it might have been misunderstood. So istidrak, however, but كأن comes to resemble, tashbih. Tashbih is to resemble. Translates as if, it's as though. لعل is tamannin. Tamannin is if only. It's like false hope. This one we have hope. Raja is hope, and this is false hope. This is something that's impossible. You're hoping in something that's impossible. That's false hope. Raja, that thing which you're hoping for, there's possibility, the high chance of it actually happening. These are the meanings. Yeah. If you don't understand the meanings right now, I've just mentioned them generally, but this is not the focus. Yeah. Inshallah, these things will come slowly. Inshallah. The main focus is now just understand generally their grammatical function, which we're going to explain now. So they have different meanings, as you can see. They express different meanings, but their grammatical function is the same. Inna and anna, we said they come for tawqid, emphasis. The difference between the two is inna is usually at the start of a sentence, and anna usually comes in the middle of a sentence. So we'd say, for example, inna zaydan kariman, and anna will be dhanantu anna. So you see, it comes in the middle of a sentence. That's the slight difference, but the meaning is exactly the same. Inna and its sisters have the same grammatical function, and that grammatical function is that when it enters upon the Jumlah Ismiyyah, and it's only going to enter upon Jumlah Ismiyyah. It's not going to enter upon Jumlah Fa'liyyah. Inna and its sisters will only enter upon Jumlah Ismiyyah. طيب, that's the first important thing that we need to mention. How is it going to affect the sentence? When it enters upon a Jumlah Ismiyyah, it's going to affect both parts, the mubtada and the khabar. It's going to affect both parts, the mubtada and the khabar. How is it going to affect the mubtada? It's going to affect the mubtada in two ways. First way is the ending now, before the mubtada, the inna came in, the ending was marfu'. The first effect is, it's going to change this. It's no longer going to be marfu'. Instead of zaydun, it's going to become zaydan. It changes it from marfu' to mansub. That's the first thing, mansub. Number one. What's the first change? The mubtada goes from being marfu' to being mansub. طيب, what's made it mansub? Inna. Inna has made this word mansub. That's the first change. The second change is the mubtada is no longer going to be called mubtada. So it changes the name of the mubtada into ismu inna. It's going to be called ismu inna now. The mubtada is no longer going to be called mubtada, it's going to be called ismu inna. Two changes on the mubtada. It becomes mansub and it's going to be called ismu inna. Here we're saying ismu inna because inna is here. But if it was anna, it would be ismu anna. If it was la'alla, ismu la'alla. Ismu lakinna, ismu ka'anna, ismu layta. The same thing that we're saying here about inna applies to all of them. They have the same grammatical function. So this is in terms of the effect on the mubtada. What effect does it have on the khabar? Remember we mentioned that the khabar is marfu' because of the mubtada. Okay? The khabar is marfu' because of the mubtada. But when inna comes, it's going to change this. It's no longer going to be marfu' because of the mubtada. It's going to be marfu' because of inna. Inna is making it marfu'. So the ending, the end result is still the same. Muslimun is going to be Muslimun in both cases, before and after inna entering the sentence. But the cause is different. Before inna came into the sentence, the cause for it being marfu' was the mubtada. But after inna came into the sentence, the cause for it being marfu' is inna. Inna is the cause. So Muslimun is still Muslimun. Zaydan Muslimun, still Muslimun. But the cause, it's marfu' because of inna. So it's marfu' because of inna. The second change, the second effect that it has on the khabar is it's no longer going to be khabar. The name changes to khabaru inna. It's going to be called khabar inna, the khabar of inna. Two changes. And the same for these ones. If anna was here, be khabar anna, la'alla, khabar lakinna. Same thing that we mentioned about ismu inna, khabar inna. Is that understood? Inna came into the sentence, changed the mubtada in two ways. It changed it from being mansub, it changed it from being marfu' to mansub. It changed the name to ismu inna now. So when we analyze this sentence, we're going to say Zayd, ismu inna mansub. Muslim, khabar inna marfu'. What made it marfu'? Inna. What made it mansub? Inna. So inna affects the mubtada and the khabar. طيب. That's in terms of the grammatical function. In terms of meaning, this has more emphasis than the first meaning, because we mentioned that inna and anna come for tawqid. So if I said Zayd Muslim, Zaydun Muslim, Zayd is a Muslim. That's a casual statement. Zayd is a Muslim. So imagine someone came and he's meeting Zayd for the first time. Someone comes and he's meeting Zayd for the first time. And as he meets Zayd, he sees that Zayd is clean shaven. He sees that his trousers is below his ankles. He sees him with dreadlocks. He sees him with a pierced ear and tattoos and so on. And then I say to him, Zayd Muslim. And he looks at me in a funny way. Thinking that, how is this guy Muslim? He doesn't look like a Muslim. So I'm going to emphasize to him now. I'm going to say, Inna Zaydan Muslimun ya akhi. Indeed, that's how we translate inna and anna. Indeed, surely, without doubt, certainly, Zayd is a Muslim. Yes, he looks like a non-Muslim, but he has tawheed. He prays 5 times a day, but he's falling short in these types of sins. And these sins don't remove a person from the fold of Islam. These sins don't remove, having tattoo is major sin.